All right. So you've met with our team, our designers, our project guide, and you're ready to get started on a project with us, which is fantastic. The first document that you would engage with us in is the design agreement. So I want to talk a little bit about that today and share with you some highlights and some things and questions that usually come up. So I'm going to go through the document on screen here, and should serve as an overview to help you understand what the design agreement really means, and we'll go from there and some of the details within it. Getting right into it, this is the design agreement. We're going to list out your name, address, etc., and we're going to move into directly into the responsibility. So, what we're offering and what this agreement is we're offering to do pre design work and as built, as well as concept plans and concept estimating for your project. These are the things that we need to do to make sure that we're ready for development. You understand the cost of the project and you understand the scope of work and things that would be included for that price. So, this is the design agreement really gets us to where concepting gets done and it gives you a clear picture on whether or not you should take next steps. Obviously, there is a responsibility on your end for some fees to make sure that we're all good there. First things that we'll look at, some of the first deliverables when you look at this 2.1 pre-design and as-built. This is when we're going to do a 3D LiDAR scan of your home. We're going to create your home in a 3D model so that we can actually begin working on it. During this phase, we're also going to go over zoning and building code requirements and make sure that we make you aware of any challenges that we have that may affect your design process. So, the big deliverables out of this agreement, the things that you're going to get from us are a concept estimate, a concept set of plans, and a project presentation. A few words on what those are. It really starts with the concept plans. So you'll work directly with your architectural designer to come up with a concept based on your priorities, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit, which are listed in this agreement. Based on your priorities, we're going to try and create a plan that responds to you and your needs as well as your budget. And through this process, once the plans are completed, our project developer is going to take the plans and go ahead and create an estimate. Now, this estimate is based on the information in the plans, the 3D LiDAR scan that we have of the home. And of course, we have pricing that we've agreed with our trade partners and through years of experience, understanding what the costing of some of these things are. Our developer will be able to create a concept estimate. The concept estimate is not a final contract estimate. It is the estimate to give us a gauge for the scope of work, the costs that would be there to make sure that you're comfortable and move on to the next step, which is a development agreement. We'll also give a presentation. Once we've got the plans together, concept plans, we feel they're good. You may get a sneak peek at those as we roll through, especially if the designer has any questions or our project guide. But ultimately, once we get them where they need to be and we have the concept estimate, we're going to give a presentation. So we're going to do a 3D walkthrough with you on screen so that you can actually see the structure. Obviously, we'll have your traditional 2D plans that we can look at, floor plans and elevations. And then we're going to go over the items in the estimate and how we price the project out. So those are all your deliverables with a design agreement. Some other nuts and bolts in here, you're going to see listed A and B priorities. This describes how we define an A and B priority. And we're going to list these out. So let's say, hey, I need a new bedroom and a new bathroom. I need space for a new baby that's joining the family, right? We're going to write those A and B priorities down so that it's very clear what we're shooting for. We also have some other notes on here that would kind of set the pace for the project and also make us aware of special circumstances that we should know about. Your HOA, different zoning requirements that you may know of, especially if you're near a lake or something like that. This really helps us reflect as we move through the process. You're going to see on here concept plans, concept estimate, and project presentation. These are descriptions of exactly what I just mentioned before. There is a fee for a design agreement. So this is an advance payment for the services that we're going to provide within the agreement. This will roughly be based on the costs of 3D scanning and, of course, the time that our architectural designer and our project developer and any other folks on the team that would engage on the project, the costs for their work will be accumulated and then put in here as an advance payment. One really very important thing to note. This is not a construction contract. We're not going to build off the plans and estimate that's in here. This is a concept to get us to the next phase where we can get that done. Another thing that I have heard, and I believe some other design build firms might do this, but it is not something that we do, so I really want to make this point. The monies that are paid for this agreement do not apply to your construction cost or your construction contract cost. In this agreement, this is the payment to make those deliverables happen. Concept plan, concept estimate, and presentation. That's what this is covering, not actual construction costs. So I want to be very clear about that. I have had some folks that assumed that that was the case. And then after reviewing the document, obviously find out that that is not what we were planning on. So there is a note in here about services by hour. If for some reason we have other outside services our team would help you with, that's billed at $125 per hour. Some other items in here that are of note, and this comes up a lot. This is section 4.1, rights and ownership of documents. As a design build firm, our goal is to work with you to design and, in conjunction with, build your project. So when we do a concept set of plans, you are paying for the service of us presenting those to you and a concept estimate. With this agreement, you do not become the owner of those documents. Once you sign a construction contract with us and we are building it, you are officially the owner of those documents and we're going to build the project. So I wanted to be very clear about that. Sometimes some folks ask about that item and I like to bring it up, but the services that you're paying for are described in here, but they do not give you ownership of the plans that we've created. Also, I'll say this. I would not recommend building off a set of concept plans, right? There's details that need to be vetted out through the development process, which is our next agreement that we'll talk about, but I wanted to make that very clear for you. So I want to touch on additional services. There may be things that our team may work on where we would bill you at an hourly rate, or we may have to outsource something like a survey or an engineer as part of the concepting process, which might be an additional to the fee that we've calculated for your agreement. I hope this was helpful for you in understanding the design agreement. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your project guide or any one of our team members or myself. Thanks so much.